I'll try and keep this quick, but no promises as usual. So I went and I did not my first ever card drop off, but my first ever card drop off with CGC. This was at the Comic Con in New York City, Queens, just this last weekend. Um, Good news. I don't think the hobby's dead by any means. It seemed pretty lively. The line wasn't crazy long. I wasn't the first one there. I also wasn't the last one there. I got there at an okay time. My only mistake was it wasn't a card show, it was a comic book show. But needless to say, CGC was there to receive my Pokemon cards for grading. They had some pens on the table, which I have here, which I asked if I could have one. But the one guy was so excited actually just to receive my submission. He said, go ahead and have two. So I, of course, took two. I'll probably give one of these away. As I mentioned on one of my earlier shorts, I am selling a bunch of graded cards on my eBay. I don't typically necessarily promote sales. I don't necessarily like YouTube for that, but I am doing it because it gives you guys an opportunity to typically the cards go for much more, but I start the bids at a penny. And if you guys specifically hit me up on the eBay, if you win the bid and mention that you follow the channel, I'm giving certain things away. This will probably be one of them. And I'll get ahead of when we get closer to closing bids, what will be the prizes with what. Of course, I'm only saying those to the people who, let me know before I ship it, and also, if they're on this channel. Obviously, only those who watch these videos will know to comment that to me on my eBay. But so experience with the drop off was actually really great. I had a really great time. I had some chit chat with the CGC employee. He was really busy. I wasn't trying to distract him too much. There was a line behind me. People weren't very happy because of how large my submission was. And I had cut my submission down too. I was originally planning on submitting about 205 cards, 212, something like that. I cut it down to like 168 pieces. But overall, the process went smooth. I came prepared. I got to keep my boxes. Some tips and tricks. So I did that as a drive to New York City, thinking I'd probably save some time, be able to save some time and money, and spend some time with my family. Well, New York City trip because I've never been. I'm not a big fan of New York City, but that's neither here nor there. For me, it just would have costed, as I did a hotel in New York, a very expensive hotel. It at a certain point would have cost me less to just do a quick flight back to Sarasota, Florida, and we'll get to why that's important in a second. I guess I'll zoom out so there's more to see. So the drop-off went smooth, but what I didn't know is you can do those drop-offs, but they typically don't get put into the system to even start grading till like several weeks later, is what I was told. Then I didn't know that at the drop off. I only found that out as I recently just contacted CGC today via their chat system, and for me, in my scenario, I could have flown to Sarasota and dropped off the items. It would have cost me less. That's not CGC's fault. I chose an expensive hotel. If I was in that area, going to that show would have obviously been the cheaper route. But with me still doing a fairly long drive, getting told like crazy. But my main point isn't the fact that it would have been cheaper. My main point is the fact that if I would have gone to Sarasota, the cards would have been put into the system much sooner. They didn't give me an exact difference. They just said, yeah, it would be quicker if I had gone to Sarasota to do my drop-off. And again, you can only do the drop-off in Sarasota if you are an elite member, which isn't the end of the world, and you can look into that. If you have questions about it, you can drop the questions in the comments here. But this is the part that I didn't like, and I kind of wanted to mention, like in terms of the title of the video, they all do this, and I'd like to see them improve upon it. And it leads to a cascade of things, particularly what we're all seeing right now. And so the thing that all these grading companies do that isn't a hard system to implement. In fact, they probably already have it. They just choose to have it turned off. And so it's actually really easy for these grading companies to know exactly what their maximum grading capacity is. That's not hard to figure out. That's just a basic algebraic equation with some differentials thrown in there and variables in terms of time delays, holidays. And that should allow them, of course, like I'm perfectly fine when you have estimated turnaround time is 45 business days. But then once we hit 50 business days and I hit you up and you're like, it's just a guess. All right, sure, fine. Still 5 more business days, whatever. And then when, another 5 more business days go by, we're talking business days, not just calendar days. So, we're now 10 business days past the expected. That 45 business days, this isn't just a hit at CGC. They all do it. But that 45 business days is like the card's at least completed and end shipping route, or even already finally back in my hands by 45 business days. So my one order has been kind of sitting for a while. When I submitted it back in March, I submitted it back when the turnaround time for that tier was 45 business days. And so 45 business days came and went, like whatever. And then eventually it hit 50 business days. And that's when I hit them up and they're like, oh yeah, it'll get to you soon. Then a little bit after that, so we're already past the 45 business days. We're at 50 business days. After that, they changed their thing. They don't announce it, but they changed their turnaround times during the weekend, and they changed it to 65 business days for that tier. But keep in mind, I was already past 45 business days when the turnaround time was 45 business days. And so I hit up CGC today and I'm like, hey, just wanting an update, just a live update. Like, we're at 55 business days now. Like, what's the actual expectation here? And I didn't lose it yet again when they were like, oh, it's always an estimate. We're really busy. I even led with that. I go, hey, I know you guys are overwhelmed. I just, all card grading is. I'm just kind of wondering, like, what's the actual reality for my submission? It's been in encapsulation for like 15 business days. But none of that peeved me until they specifically said, and this part I really want grading companies to tread lightly on in terms of your choice of words. Oh, well, we're still within our realm of the business day turnaround time. We're within 65 business days. Unbeknownst, I guess, to that employee, although they definitely should have known, maybe they didn't understand. I was locked in for the 45 business days. We're already past it. And it's not like the change occurred right after I did my submission. The change from 45 business days to 65 business days occurred when we were already past 50 business days with my submission. So I gave that person a little earful on, don't ever say that. Don't ever say that you're within your time window of the submission of 65 business days. That wasn't my agreement with the company when I did that. My agreement was the 45 business days. And again, I allow, some variance left or right. It's almost never left. They're almost never there. They're almost never done before the turn-in time. But, I allow, like, whatever, something to the right, 45 business days, 50 business days. Sure. 5 extra business days, that's pretty good. That's more than an extra 10% leeway in business days, which is a huge deal on a kind of product that is merely just a service. So when they tell you, oh, everything is on time for your 65 business days, but you didn't do a 65 business day agreement and you were already past the 45 business day agreement, that's not wise. That's just putting fuel on the fire. Stick to the script, buddy. Just go ahead and say, hey, we're really well overwhelmed. Sorry we didn't meet our 45 business day turnaround. Understanding that we're already 50 plus business days in, 55 at this point. We are expecting to get to you completion at the 65 business day mark. Like, that's how it should have been worded. I didn't need it to be worded back to me cheeky. But CGC is not the only one. I've had this with PSA. PSA is way worse in regards to it. I was really surprised. And granted, I don't think the person was like a customer service rep. I think they was just some random person I got a hold of. The customer service reps that I've dealt with CGC have been pretty fantastic. I think I just got some random person from CGC. But what I was getting at too is all the grading companies can do this. They're all capable of basically keeping an inventory control on how much submissions they receive. What I mean by that is, like, when you order things online, when you're ordering an item online, and then eventually, like, on some websites, like I think like Walmart, Amazon, and eBay does it, to where it'll tell you like there's only 3 of these items left. And like, so like, oh, like if I want this, I need to do it, and oh, I need 3 of them, so I need to order all 3 right now. So just change items to, in your mind, change items to grading slots, and you can do it by tier. And they can do this. They have this. It's not a crazy technology by any means. It's been around for years and years, to where there would be like a known number of grading slots, and as they complete grades, those slots begin to open to allow for people to use. Now, this could drive some actually decent customer-driven competition, where people go, man, I got things I get graded, and these slots keep dwindling. I better get my stuff in. Versus all of us just kind of guessing and then overloading the system. But it's also done on purpose, because now they have you locked in, and you're a lot less likely to pull back, and you're just going to go ahead and wait. And they all do it. I do this video to make it clear that I'm not necessarily just one hardball driver of one grader. If PSA did the right things, I'd probably be all about PSA. But for people who are all about PSA, and PSA is a company just doing the wrong choices over and over. And this video has me up and going because Pinguino's Critical Moist, he just made a video about PSA. I thought it was very recent. Apparently it was like a month or 2 ago. But regardless, huge YouTuber streamer. So crazy to see him. And he's bashed PSA multiple times. So he still is coming out of the woodwork and continuing to bash PSA. He's made some great points. They're pretty much the same points we've made on the show. And they're actually a couple extra. So yeah, I was at the show. You probably saw me. You probably had no idea who I was. That's kind of the point. Some of you maybe seeing this might be kind of like, wait a second, wasn't it that one guy? Because I was the only guy with a massive submission, and really the only guy there with cards. Again, I'm not hating on CGC. I think I just got the wrong person. I understand that they're overwhelmed. Sure, the current gem rate pop count matrix doesn't necessarily show them being overwhelmed for this previous month of May, but I am expecting the June data to show a massive jump. So the May data showed, I think, a 13%, something like that, jump. But the June data is what I'm expecting to be a massive jump. And then August to be even bigger, because CGC is at least trying to hire graders. So I don't think it's going to be too much longer, and we're really, and look, guys, we're talking about in mass scale. So when I talk about in mass scale, I would say in about 1 year we'll probably see CGC at, near, or maybe even above PSA grading submissions in terms of completion, and in terms of people using them as a service. Because the only thing that was left for people defending PSA was, oh, well, they're just really liquid. But we're seeing CGC slabs get more and more liquid, and also some of them go for more than PSA slabs, which rightfully so they should, especially if you're talking about a CGC Pristine. It's a higher level up than a PSA 10. So we're starting to see that turnaround, and I actually had some conversations with some people at that show. And then for the people that I did see selling cards, sports, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and MTG and others, Magic the Gathering, it was mostly CGC slabs there. And this wasn't a CGC exclusive show. Like, there was still PSA and some other graders, but like, I am starting to see like the huge shift of changing to CGC. It's happening. Eventually we'll see shows be pretty much an even split, to where vendors have PSA and CGC at their tables, and then I think you're going to start to see an over and shadow mint. Because, I mean, I just don't know a whole bunch of people who want to pay $80 per card grade just to get a 9, because PSA doesn't want to give out, rightfully so, the 10s that you've earned with the card that you had, and then to basically lose money. But yeah, they all do it, and that's my take on it.